Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment or medications if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here. Visit bewelltexas.org.
Hello and welcome to March 2 of the pod presented by Eternal Roofing. This is season 2, episode 36. Today, we're announcing the Cats men's and women's athletes of the year. I'm your host, formerly band member of catfans.com, and the guy who's making out colors on spreadsheets, Corey Hogue, the non-FBS insider at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Find me on your favorite social media channel at Corey Hogue Sports. It's all one word, CORYHOGUE Sports. The knowledge of this show is provided by the creator and manager of Sports of SHSU, all one word, on Twitter and Instagram. He's the chief operating officer of the Cat Fund, proud Bearcat alum, Ben Sorrells. So I usually do my yearly physicals in like June time frame because that's like right after the magazine's been sent in and right before the season starts, so I get all that medical crap out the way, right? But I had to actually make a doctor's appointment this time because my elbow's been bugging me. I started during baseball season. I told the wife we would get through baseball. We did, barely, but we made it. It's still there. It's attached. That's all that matters to start with. So I go in there. And they're like, oh, well, might as well do your yearly since your yearly is like 2 weeks. I was like, okay, fine. Dude, I knew they were going to take my blood, but here they come. They're like, the COVID death shot comes in and the pneumonia vaccine. And let me tell you, the pneumonia vaccine, that thing hurts, man. I've not had one before. That thing has been, it kept me up in this morning. It was so darn painful. I've been stretching it all day. And it's weird. It's weird because, listen, I get it. I'm not here to advocate what you do with your body, whether you take a shot or don't take a shot. I don't care. But yes, I've taken every COVID death shot they can give me. Look, I was in the military. I had 9 anthrax shots. If anything was going to kill me, it's anthrax.
Yeah, still here.
I'm still here. So if my body can take 9 anthrax shots, I'm pretty sure the COVID death shot will be all right too. They're all just in there having a big old party, usually in my brain somewhere.
All 9 of them?
All 9 of them. And I will tell you this. The worst shot in the world is that anthrax shot. Because when it goes in, it burns like every other one. Not every single one of them. No. Every other one would burn and hurt for days, man.
Tetanus is the one that I've had hurt. I don't know. Just it feels like a nice big bruise there for a day or two.
Yeah, see, my body's like tetanus.
Yeah.
I could get stuck. I could not get a tetanus shot and not have to worry about it with all the crud that's been shipped into my body, which is, it's all part of being in the armed forces, man. You walk in there the first day, you're just a pincushion. And you remain one.
That's a new one to me.
Well, you are. You're a pincushion from the time you get in. I mean, dude, it is, for those who have never been through like Army basic training, and I don't know how it is now, but when I went through, they had a line and they had medics lined up in this room all the way. You walk down, they shove things in each arm, and then at the end, they shoved one in your butt.
And then they send you off.
And then they send you over to get yelled at by drill sergeants. And
Yep.
it's like, what am I getting myself into? And really, it's just, that's what you are. When you're in Iraq and anthrax is a thing, they made you get the shots. It was either get the shot or get kicked out. So, I didn't really want to be, left in Iraq by myself.
Yeah, they're not a great place.
Not a
to
great
be
place.
left.
Regardless, I'm here. I'm alive. We're going to have a show today. But first, we need to hear from our sponsor and our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Huge thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing. And Ben, we had good response. Like, we're still trying to grow this. We're trying to grow the pod, trying to grow our social media account. And listen, it's hard, right? Because I mean, we both have another job that we have to do. So it takes time to build up your social media account. And we're in the process of that. It's going to take us time. And of course, it would help if I was on there a little more and being a little better with it. Regardless, I was a little curious to see what the response would be for the polls. And now, mind you, we posted the polls on both Twitter and Facebook. So we had multiple venues, multiple users. So I went through and rounded all those votes together. And we have winners. We do. And the women's winner is Landry Townsend. She did. I won't say she ran away with it, though. I think what happened here, Ben, is what I was initially kind of afraid of. The softball players split the votes. Like, you combine softball player votes, and they're more than Landry, but it feels like it kind of split them a little. But at the same time, Landry was a pretty solid choice too.
Yeah, and I think Landry was my choice after thinking it through. And I thought it was interesting. The team posted who I don't know if they voted on it or who decided it, but the softball account tweeted out that they had a team MVP, and it was Jenny Robeson, which was kind of like our write-in candidate that we were thinking of putting in there. But there really could have been three. But yeah, softball kind of watered it down. They had a couple really deserving candidates. But overall, I think Landry Townsend was the most deserving on a team that had a winning record, placed fourth in Conference USA, finished in the top 5 in almost every category. For soccer players at Sam Houston. So incredible year, incredible career, and on one of the better teams that we had at Sam Houston this year.
And she was my pick. And I think the reason being is because without her, what does that team do?
When she had she had 17 points and the next closest was 8, something like that. Yeah.
Yes, and that's really what separated it from me, because again, you kind of split it, right? And you split it 3 ways with softball. We struggled with that as well. And by the way, Blankinsky votes too, right? Like, every single person on the poll, both men and women, got votes. So it wasn't like just one was shut out or anything. There were quality candidates all the way through. My opinion, Landry was the one, just simply because of how much her production meant to the success of the program, and that also matters to me when I vote for that as well.
Yeah. I mean, and softball was good too, but if you look at overall record, I think softball placed 6th in conference, and they were like 1 game below 500 at the end of the year, where soccer placed 4th, and they had a winning overall record. If you look at points percentage, I think they were like 8-2, something like that. So a little bit more team success too.
It was a great year for softball.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
I thought that softball outdid expectations. I thought soccer outdid expectations as well.
Right. Yeah, and we'll have plenty to talk about with soccer coming up here in 6 to 8 weeks, really. It'll start to ramp up.
We're at the end of the academic year or athletic year now for Sam Houston. There will still be competitions for the next month or so with baseball and the softball finishing up and a few other sports. July is when that turns, man. And so, yeah, come July, we will be talking soccer. We'll be talking – man, we're talking football later today.
Yeah.
Right?
Volleyball, too.
General Sam, I voted Bella because I like dingers. Me too.
And
Me
I think
too.
and I think that's why we included her over Jenny, was the average wasn't as high, but the 13 homers, which tied a school record, I think was something you had to take into account. The slug was just super impressive this year.
Do you remember the LSU pitcher? I always remember this now. Every year that conference tournament season happens, it was Todd. What was his name? Just slipped me. Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
Peterson at LSU.
The one who says I hit dingers?
Yes. Told his coach, I hit bombs, coach. He never even hit. Right? He goes out and hits a dinger to win a Southeastern Conference championship game. Every time I hear that, I think of that guy, man. That's one of the greatest moments in sports to me.
Yeah, that post-game interview was hilarious.
We got Texas Cantina. Glad we get some week 0 action in football. Hey, tomorrow comes out game times and stuff on that. We will definitely be touching on a lot of that stuff. Not next week, 2 weeks. We will be off next week. We will be back for a couple of weeks, and then we'll be out again at the end of June. And, man, come July, we hit that ground running hot and heavy again, man.
Yeah, a lot to cover. A lot to cover today, too.
Lots to cover today. So let's get on to the men's side. The winner on the men's side, and this was a really, really close vote. It was 2 votes. 2 votes separated first and second. And the winner,
not there yet.
I'm not with it today. I was just the winner is Hunter Watson by 2 votes over Lamar Wilkerson. And honestly, I think it could have gone either way there, Ben.
Yeah, I think we both knew it was probably going to come down to those two. And apologies to Hugo also with the way we spelled his name in the poll.
Yeah, autocorrect got me on that one.
Hey, that'd be a cool name though. Huge traumeter.
Funny thing is, I get called that, not just because I am, but because my last name, a lot of times people will pronounce that. Corey Huge, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, and I think my vote would have been Lamar Wilkerson. I mean, I know the team success wasn't there, but the individual performance, I think, was the best of any athlete on campus this year. And, I mean, football team had incredible success in 2024, but and Hunter was a big part of that, but there were also times where he did struggle. And that's fine, but I think that's part of why I would have gone with Lamar, is he was just so consistent throughout the whole year. I think he had the best performance overall of any athlete on campus. The only thing he was missing was team success, and then on Hunter's and his individual performance was a little less, but the team success was more.
Can't argue with any of that. But I picked Hunter Watson. Because what's the team's record last year with a backup quarterback?
1-1. They lost the Western Kentucky game where they were down by, I think, 3 at halftime, and then they beat FIU 10-7.
Would they have been bowl eligible without Hunter Watson?
You go from 9-3 to probably 6-6, and you're really starting to push it. I could even see a 5-7 record.
And that right there is why I picked Hunter Watson. And again, you can't argue with either one, right? Like, I get it. Lamar had a great year. Lamar did great things. We wish him the best at Indiana. But, I mean, without Lamar, the basketball team's still going to struggle. Without Hunter, football team might not get a bowl game.
Right. And basketball probably goes from, 13 wins to 8?
Yeah, but still, that's not.
Yeah, either way, it's not a great season.
No, it's not. General Sam said yes, Little League World Series kid, Big Al. I hit dingers. Yes, he's another one that I love listening to as well.
Yep.
Love those as well. But congratulations to all the players, and but to Hunter Watson and Landry Townsend on their Cats athletes. It's voted by you guys. So these are your winners. Congratulations. And by the way, I did vote. I made sure my vote was cast, and I picked both winners. So without me, Hunter only wins by one vote.
Or if you would have voted for Lamar, it could have tied it, right? Take one from Hunter and add one to Lamar.
Dude, you're trying to get me to math? I had a death shot. I got COVID and pneumonia death shots. Every shot now is going to be a death shot from here to the end of time. We are a podcast on the Republic of Football Network and an extension of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and the CUSA Podcast Roundtable, which features podcasts from all 12 CUSA schools. Please like and subscribe to the podcast and follow us on the various social media platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at March to the Pod. It's all one word, March, the number 2, the Pod. We'll be back here shortly to talk about some baseball, softball signees, and a little extra stuff on the baseball side right after we hear from our presenting sponsor, Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
Once again, big thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing. Greatly appreciate everything they do. And, you know, the season ended for the Cats. The season has not ended overall. Softball, the World Series starts tomorrow. Excited for that. Baseball this weekend starts regional play. Excited for that as well. Unfortunately, we don't have the Cats in either one of them. But that doesn't mean they're not busy. They have been signing a lot of players, getting ready for next year. So, Ben, let's start softball. Tell us who they've signed and a little bit about it.
Yeah, so softball actually just has one because you only lose, I think, 5, maybe 6 players off this roster, and you've got a freshman class coming in. But the one is extremely notable. First team All-Southland Conference infielder Veronica Harrison from Lamar. She hit .352 with 7 homers this last year. And as of right now, nobody has entered the portal for Sam Houston softball, so that means you return every pitcher from a pitching staff that was probably number 2 or 3 in the league. You lose about half your lineup, but speaking of additions, Jordan Pino last year missed all year due to injury. She's a career .290 hitter. She announced on Instagram last week that she's going to return, so you get her back. And then Trisha Yarotsky also missed all of last year due to injury. And in 2024, she hit .270 with 10 homers. So you add Veronica Harrison, you get back 2 big pieces from the 2024 team. You bring back Bella Perez from last year, which is obviously a huge piece. And then you had 4 or 5 freshmen this last season that didn't perform at an extremely high level, but got a lot of at-bats. And so if you can just have 1 or 2 of those take a step forward, that's a really solid 7 or 8 in your lineup. So you add 2 from injury, and then you get Veronica Harrison from Lamar, and I think the lineup's really starting to come into shape for next year.
By the way, I had to look it up. Veronica was 3 for 6 with 1 run against Sam Houston in the 2 games this year. No home runs, though. None of her home runs. But Sam Houston got to see her up close. That has to help with these days of the transfer portal.
Yep.
I mean, look, I just wrote a story about tampering. Something's got to be done. And then I wrote a story about how to fix it. And until we fix it, this is what's going to continue to happen.
Yeah, and obviously softball is probably not as big of a level as other sports, but it's definitely still a thing in every sport across the country. And getting a look at someone who went 3 for 6 against you and this caliber of a player, it wouldn't surprise me if you start to make contact early or whatever that looks like. So But yeah, it's a huge piece to go along with Bella Perez, bringing back Yorotsky and Pino, and then you just have to hope that, and I think you can count on a couple of those freshmen that got a lot of ABs this year that hit like 190, 200 to take a step up to maybe that 250 to 270 kind of range. Like a Haley Day, Carlin Dees, both saw pretty good action this year, hit around 200, and hopefully they can take a step up as a sophomore.
That's a really good point. General Sam chimes in on YouTube. This incoming freshman class is supposed to be really good too. They believe.
Yeah, it's pretty much all hitters because you're set on the pitching side. So, yeah, I mean, softball is, as far as just their roster, I mean, there is a lot of reason for optimism going to next year. Return the pitching staff. You feel really good about 4 or 5 of your hitters. And then you'll see what the rest of the lineup shapes up like. But, I mean, this could be a legit contender in Conference USA next year.
Of the main, Olympic sports, is that the team that you think has the best chance for success next year?
Oh, absolutely.
I kind of feel that way, too. I see softball may be the only bright spot next year.
Well, and I was going to say soccer, but you lost some pretty significant pieces. Well, one in Landry Townsend and to graduation. Then your second leading scorer was a true freshman. I'm blanking on her first name, last name Williams. She transferred to Tarleton. She'll be really good there. And then you lost Paige Fry, who might have been your starting goalkeeper, and a couple other pieces. So yeah, there's some concerns there after the coaching change. So softball's definitely the one I would look at.
Yeah. Boy, we're gonna start talking football, by the way, today. We're going to have here our third leg is talking football positional preview series. And we're starting with quarterbacks. Go figure. But before we get to all that, man, baseball team. This is depressing to me to talk baseball, Sam Houston baseball right now. It just really is. Baseball is the one sport college baseball. I love college baseball. There's one sport I want Sam Houston to always be great in. It's this one. Just weren't this year, but they've signed a lot of people, and it seems like they're kind of doing a reset on pitching arms this year.
Absolutely, yeah. So just a high-level overview before we get into the pitchers, and then we can break down some hitters too. You've got 14 players either signed or committed for next season, and a roster of 35. That's some pretty significant turnover. And I will note too, only 2 players as of right now, Brady Christensen, who's in the portal, and Hunter Autry, who's out of eligibility, are officially off the team. We haven't seen any other official portal entries. So
nobody's tampering with them.
well, it turns into a math equation where you've got 14 players signed or committed. You've only got 2 leaving, so that means you're probably pushing 12 players out the door or having 12 enter the portal at the very least, which I think makes a lot of sense. I think there's probably 12 to 15 guys that probably can't necessarily play at this level. And we saw that this year. So I think that's okay. And we'll see who those guys end up being that are no longer with the team. But yeah, 14 incoming right now. You've got 9 pitchers incoming, 5 high school pitchers, 4 pitchers from the JUCO ranks. But that's kind of the high level overview of it. And then I can break some of the pitchers down that I like and some of the notable ones.
I am not a fan of cutting players after you've brought them in if they've had a scholarship. I'm not a fan of that. Look, I get it, right? But and again, one of the things I wrote about in that piece, the solution piece, is to make it professional athletes, right? You need a contract signed where if a team comes in and takes your guy out of the transfer portal, you get a buyout from it. But you know what? If you offer a kid a scholarship and they take it and they play for you and you don't want them on your team anymore, they deserve a buyout as well.
Yeah, I agree. And baseball's an interesting sport too, especially this last year with the 11.7 scholarships. Who knows how many were on scholarship, and maybe the ones that didn't have a scholarship or had very little, because you can split it up and divide it. Those are the ones you're pushing out the door. But yeah, I don't. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out these next couple of weeks to see who it is that's leaving.
That's one of the good things I think about what's happening with college sports and all of that is that you're going to have more scholarships for baseball and softball. Man, they were getting screwed. It's not fair.
Yeah,
you can't build
crazy.
a roster off 11.7 scholarships unless you're Vanderbilt, and that's because, you giving them scholarships to pay all the tuition.
Academic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they did.
Yeah.
It's not wrong.
So, but yeah, I was going to say there are some arms that are interesting. It is intriguing or interesting also that 5 of these arms are from high school. You would think a lot of and maybe they are college ready, but you would think maybe you go the more college ready route through JUCO and the portal. And the Division I portal is still very new and ongoing since most team seasons ended less than a week ago. So maybe we'll see some more come out of that. But there are some arms I like. So you've got Cooper Harris from Friendswood High School, guy that sits 93, 95 as a senior in high school. I mean, that's just super impressive. Mason Murphy from Ridgepoint High School. Haven't seen a ton of him, but his dad played for the Texans. So, he's got some athletic genes. So that's an interesting one. Zach Allerid, he committed a few days ago. He was the unanimous first team all-district pitcher at Lake Creek High School, which is a very good baseball district just north of Houston. And then 2 JUCO arms that kind of intrigue me. The first one is Cade. This is a interesting name. I'm probably going to butcher it. Noonan Schwader. I hope that's correct.
German.
From Grayson College, he had an incredible year this last season at Grayson. 66 innings pitched, 2.3 ERA with 73 Ks. And then you also have Jacob Holzer from Murray State College, which is another JUCO. He had a really good year. He's a lefty, had a 2.6 ERA in 58 innings and 76 strikeouts. And so the difference with some of these JUCO, and there's a couple other JUCO arms that are pretty good. I like the kid we got from Alvin, but a lot of these kids from high school and the kids from JUCO, I mean, the stuff looks impressive and the numbers look good. Last year you were picking up some guys that they were sitting like 86 to 88 and had a 7.8 ERA in JUCO. Or you bringing over guys from Louisiana Tech that had an 11 ERA the previous season. So we'll see how it translates to this level, but at least from a just kind of a visual perspective with stats and velocity for a lot of these guys, they look to be more intriguing than the arms you brought in last year.
I can tell you how it played out last year with ERAs above 8 for nearly every darn body.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened. So, now, listen, I understand the 2 or 3 JUCO arms, of course, right? I also understand
got 4,
high school route. Well, I mean, I also understand going a high school route for a
Yeah.
lot of these because I don't know if you watch JUCO baseball, but the arms are actually limited there too, right?
Yeah.
So you may get a high school freshman, like you mentioned, the guy pitching 92, 93, 90. That could be
Yeah.
a 95-ish before the season starts next year. That's going to play.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. And, I mean, I like that. That's Cooper Harris, who you were referring to. So,
Yes.
and freshmen can make an impact in baseball. Like Ryan Peterson, numbers weren't incredible this year. He gave you a lot of length, but as a freshman, he went, I think, 35 innings and had like a 3 ERA as a true freshman. You've seen guys at the plate like Colton Cowser, Walker Yannick, Jace Martinez step in and contribute immediately as a freshman. So there's definitely a possibility there, and I think you're probably going to have to rely on 1 or 2 of them at least, just with how much turnover there is.
I think the bat and ball sports are the 2. You can do that. You could play freshmen, and they can be productive members of your team. You see it every year, every single year.
Well, I was going to say, especially at the plate, like you might be a true freshman and need to put on some weight, and you're slapping a bunch of doubles in the gap or hard hit singles up the middle that turn into homers as a sophomore, junior, senior. So it might not be the same production that you have later on, but you can definitely still compete pretty much right away.
Yeah, definitely. And look, you're going to get better. But if you're a good contributing, you earn a starting spot as a freshman. That's great. The thing I think you have to focus on with that is be careful with their confidence, right? When you're a freshman coming into college, it is different. It is a little bit more challenging. You do have some time with the schoolwork, at least before you start playing, unlike, with football and things of that nature. But you can bring them in, get them set, but my focus is always that mental side. You don't want to ruin a kid's confidence as a freshman.
Right. So, yeah, we'll see. And then
Now,
on the
well, I was going to say on the
Yeah.
flip side, though, because you make a great point saying they've signed so many. Would it have been a little more prudent to maybe wait to see what enters the portal too?
Well, I think they might still have room to add a couple more. I mean, I could see a case where you're getting rid of 18 to 20 guys from this year's team.
All pitchers.
Well, I think there's 3 or 4 guys on the pitching side you can keep, and I think there's probably 8 or 9 hitters that you can keep. But yeah, I think, and you've got 2 departing, so that means already 14 coming in, so that means 12 are leaving, and I could see a case for 15 to 20. So I could see you add 3 to 5 more through the portal here soon, and 2 hitters or 3 hitters, I guess, to hit on. First at the high school level, Cade Corcoran. Can play a little bit of everywhere. He was a starting quarterback for College Station High School as well. Was the district MVP for that district in baseball. So really athletic kid, could play all over the diamond. He's going to be intriguing. And then 2 JUCO guys to hit on. The first one is Hunter Alvord. Primarily played shortstop at Barton Community College up in Kansas. He hit .350 with 17 homers and 29 stolen bases this last year. So just some really impressive numbers there. Another guy who could play infield and a little bit of catcher is Sean Bazemore from Angelina. Has hit over 300 the last 2 years at Angelina, so he's another intriguing piece. But Hunter Alvord is the one that really stands out to me, especially with him being a shortstop. And your infield, for the most part, being pretty young. Jace Martinez has been your shortstop the last 2 years, but the glove has been very up and down. I wonder if you move him to third base, put Alvord at shortstop, because you're set at second base as well with Addison Smith, who had a really good year for you. So I'm intrigued to see where they put Hunter Alvord, because he looks like a plug-and-play bat for you right now.
What was his fielding percentage?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't
Because
look at that
that's
part.
the thing.
There might not be one because JUCO baseball's
Oh,
a little
I'm
tough to
very well
find.
aware too. Yeah,
Let's see if I can find something. So,
but it's one of those things right now where first off you need a talented fusion, and if he could play shortstop, great. The Cats need a shortstop. It's another thing, though, where here's how I classify players. Like, I know basketball coaches have gotten into saying I have guards, and that's it, right? Like, they stop giving positions because a lot of it's kind of, hybrid or interchangeable.
right.
I'm that way with baseball in a lot of ways. I want a whole bunch of shortstops and catchers and center fielders.
Yep.
Then I can spread them all over. They can play anywhere on the diamond. That's
Hey,
what I'm looking for. Like, you would have to be really special if I'm in charge of recruiting, and I'm not. But if I was, and
Sam Houston doesn't have someone in charge of their recruiting right now either, which we'll touch on in a minute.
we will get to that. But if I'm recruiting, I am really, unless you are just outstanding, can't miss, I'm looking at catcher, shortstop, center field, maybe
Yeah.
second base. But those are the 3 positions I'm looking at for my fielders. Catcher is kind of a specialty, so that one you can't just always plug and play, but you can sometimes. And remember, Bryce Harper was a catcher.
Right.
Right now, right fielder. Baseball isn't like that. Now, pitching is different. You have batters and then you have pitchers. So the pitching is different. You need a big, solid staff these days. Obviously, it wasn't there. But with all these players being signed.
Well, I was going to say I found his fielding percentage.
Oh, good.
So he was a 956, and Jace Martinez the last 2 years was just below a 930.
I mean, that's better, but man, the shortstop, I want my shortstop being right at that 970
Yeah.
mark because they get a lot of chances out there. Also, like the scorekeeping, for errors.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the scorebook doesn't, it says if it's a judgment call.
Right.
Could they have made that play with average effort?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah.
So
So that's the big thing I'm looking for is what they do with Jace Martinez, if they keep him at short, if they move Hunter Alvord somewhere else, and because the outfield looks set. I mean, you bring Caleb Cotton back, and then Sam Lee and Parker Blackman started for you as true freshmen this year, and Blackman really excelled, and Sam Lee started to come on towards the end of the year. And another freshman from this last year, his name was Braden Scherzer. He didn't play because of a back injury, but he was the leading hitter on the Tomball State Championship team from the year before, which won the 6A title. So you've got 4 or 5 outfielders out there you could probably feel pretty good in. I think it's how you align the infield, which is going to be intriguing. Need a first baseman, too.
Need a first baseman and a defensive first baseman. That's a very important defensive position as well.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, middle infielders can play over there, too.
Yeah.
As long as they got some height. You need some height at first base, regardless. The fact that Sirianni, I could talk baseball stuff like that all day long. The fact that Sirianni is signing all these players pretty much tells me that he's coming back next year.
Oh, and
But-
I wrote an article in Cat Fund the moment the season ended saying he was back, so it shouldn't be a
Yeah.
surprise to anyone.
No, it's not. And we kind of knew that, right? I mean, first off, Sam Houston doesn't have the buyout money.
Yeah.
But there are signs that there's unhappiness with the direction of the baseball program. What before a coach who's kind of been around a little while, before they get rid of a coach, a lot of times they do what? Especially in the NFL, right? They'll make a position coach change, whether it be a coordinator or something of that nature. Baseball made kind of an interesting one of those.
Yeah, so I saw last Thursday or Friday that an assistant job had been posted, didn't know who it was, and then Kendall Rogers posted early afternoon yesterday that recruiting coordinator / assistant coach Jay Carlson was no longer with the program and had left the program. So, yeah, there's definitely a change there, and Carlson had been here for 2 years, and I mean, I know he's not the only one recruiting, but recruiting had not been up to the level it had been the past few years. And so, like you said, there's a change that was made before a head coaching change, and we saw that happen. And it kind of makes sense that it was the recruiting coordinator.
Jay Sirianni, give me a call. Ben has my number. Call me. I can help you. Look,
Well,
I'm not saying I'm the greatest, but I'm going to die trying. I will die trying to recruit. I will die trying to get players better. You wouldn't get fired because I didn't give out a best effort and we weren't better. That much I can promise you.
Well, and here's a big part of, and I don't think a lot of people realize about this program the last 2 years is you won the title in 2023, and it felt like you were building towards that season for 2 or 3 years. You have that great season, win a game in the regional, and then you lose Fuller Smith, who was your lead assistant and recruiting coordinator to Tarleton. Tarleton wins the WAC the next year. I mean, you lost a huge piece of the staff, and I think it's really shown these last 2 years because we went the JUCO route before. I mean, we got Justin Wishkowski, Joe Redfield, Tyler Davis. I mean, Carlos Contreras. Pretty much half of that lineup, which was one of the top in the country, was all JUCO. You went all JUCO again, and you missed. So I think losing Fuller Smith was a bigger deal than a lot of people realize.
Success in recruiting depends on 2 things primarily. And both of them are of equal importance, high importance. First one is you got to evaluate well, right? You have to put your time in, watch enough tape or attend games or however you have to do it. Because I know they're playing while you're on the road. If you're not out on the practice field, you should be, or in a meeting room somewhere, you should be watching tape and recruiting. That's pretty much what you should do if you're the baseball recruiting coordinator right now. That should be your whole thing during the season, out of season, 100% of the time. Anybody comes in the portal, you should have an evaluation on them pretty soon, right? Like that should never stop. The other thing is, which means, by the way, you need a sicko. You need someone who can just work nonstop and not care.
Yeah.
Just saying.
There's a lot of baseball out there to watch.
A lot of baseball to watch. A lot of players, right? I mean, look, they're all over the place. They're all over Texas. right? And you see these kids every year that are decent, solid players who are not given or passed over. That you can find them. Man, Texas has the best high school baseball. The best.
Yep.
You can go find your players around here. Pitching, maybe not as much, but you're hitting, you don't need to leave the state of Texas for a hitting infielder, my opinion. The second thing, though, relationships. If you don't have someone who can build relationships with the recruit's family, and you do that with honesty, you do that by being genuine, and look, these kids are lie detectors, man. They can tell if you're full of it, and it seems like that's been a problem for Sam Houston. That's why they're missing an assistant coach now.
Yeah, a lot of swings and misses, especially on the pitching side. Because even in 2024, I mean, you had a pretty good record, but pitching, it struggled a lot. And the bats were still pretty good. But yeah, this year there were flashes with the bats, but there were really no flashes on the pitching side. So a lot of swings and misses, and that's what happens. You get rid of an assistant. Like you said, it's kind of the last straw.
Yeah, it is. But man, so we get Sirianni one more year. We'll see. This was the like red alarm warning, getting rid of that coach, right? Like this is the next one to go is you. So turn it around or else. That's what I feel it was given to Sirianni.
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't know if Jay was the one that made that decision or was told to make that decision, or if it came from up above. It was just framed as he left the program, but yeah, something to watch, and I think it's going to be a really critical hire for this year because, I mean, I know these things.
Dude, see, this is when I start getting in trouble. This right here. This is when I get in trouble because you, the viewers, the listeners, you ask tremendous questions, but sometimes honesty doesn't always play well with these. So let's get into this. Chris Gilstrap. Ask off face. Other than the players that graduated, why did 80% of the roster leave last year?
Well, and there really weren't. You lost Jake Tatum, you lost Malachi Lott. That was really about it. Last year was a roster construction thing where you got way too senior heavy. Like freshman class was not big enough. Freshman class the year before was not big enough to where, yeah, you take 3 or 4 portal hits, but you're also losing 20 guys to graduation. I mean, I think that was just a big roster construction flaw, which, I mean, that's something the staff has to pay attention to. I mean, if you're at the University of Texas and you're Jim Schlossnagle coming in, you've got millions of dollars, you could turn it around with that many holes, but you can't bring in 26, 28 new players at a school like Sam Houston.
No, not well. You can't do it. And that is true. Listen, players enter the portal or leave for, I would say, one of 3 reasons.
14 seniors from the year before.
Yeah, but by the way, also hitting wasn't necessarily that bad this year at times, was it? Like, I mean, the offense was young, but you kind of saw some progress. Am I wrong on that one?
Yeah, they started to find an identity. Did the identity always work? Not necessarily, but they were gonna bunt the ball, win with speed, hit line drives, kind of thing, and it flashed. It didn't flash nearly as much as it needed to, though.
No, because you. What was the style the year before?
Well, you had
right. It was more like
traditional
traditional baseball, like you see in professional ranks, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to hit the doubles, triples, home runs, maybe steal some bases.
Especially 2 years ago when you had, I think, 7 guys hit 10+ homers.
Mm-hmm. You can't go small ball unless you get a small ball constructed roster.
Yeah.
Right. That's just how it is. And trying to small ball with non-small ball guys usually doesn't always go very well. And we saw that. The other thing are the arms. Jeez. The pitching staff, that's a recruiting issue, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
3 things. 3 things here. 3 reasons why, in my opinion, the majority, 3 main reasons why people enter the portal. Number 1, they can get NIL money. They can go get paid, man. Like, geez. What, Texas Tech paid that pitcher $1 million?
Yeah,
right?
softball.
Yeah. They're in the softball World Series. if I'm offered $1 million, if a kid's offered $1 million, they go take that, or whatever it is, right? That's or they want to test those waters. Hey, I get it. I would prefer you to stay and graduate, but listen, I always have a place open if things don't work out in the portal. If you were productive, now if you weren't productive and you enter the portal, I don't have nothing for you. I'm sorry, I don't even know your number anymore.
Right.
But that's reason number one. Reason number two, playing time a lot of times and things like that, right? Which some of that buds into number three, and that's relationships. Recruiting is nonstop all day, every day, regardless of your job, regardless of your profession, regardless of what you do. All day you should be recruiting, whether it's the people you work around to be on your team and to do well, or whether you're recruiting your wife because she needs a. Trust me, I have to do a lot of hard recruiting there because I'm
internal recruiting with your own players.
Ooh,
right?
a lot of recruiting happens over here, right? Because it's the same with your roster, right? You've got to recruit, and that doesn't mean everything's nice and glorious. No, sometimes it's ugly. That's okay. Because you build a bond and you build trust and you build that relationship with that stuff. Kids want honesty. People want honesty, right? In general, just in life, people want honesty. They want a foundation. Maybe, people don't like changes, although don't care who you are, you have to adjust. Life is going to make you do that. That's just part of life. So the better we learn that now, the better off it is. Those are the main reasons somebody will enter a portal, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and I'll make 2 quick points. NIL and revenue sharing and scholarship numbers for Sam Houston baseball are in a better spot than they have ever been. So they're loaded more than they ever have been, and it's not to the same level that like a Power 4 school is going to have. But I talked about it in the article I wrote. They had a $520,000 investment. We had the big fundraiser for baseball, which is going to help. So I think that'll help. And then on the other side too, I think just from what I've heard from people around the program, I think Jay Sirianni is a great guy when it comes to relationships with his own players. And I think that's
I don't know one way or the other. I'm
Right.
just giving the three things.
It just to like I know it's not about like who you are as a person, it's about wins and losses, but players love him from everything I've heard. Even Michael Watson, who pitched for us last year, was on Twitter vouching for him. I know a couple former players, they love him. Jace Martinez was on a podcast 2 weeks ago on the Players Podcast and was speaking about his relationship with Coach Sirianni. So it's good to see that it sounds like he probably still has control of the locker room and guys still respect him. I think that's an important part.
It's huge. And it also makes me feel better about how this program is right now, too.
Yeah,
right?
No, it does. Yeah, I think he's got control of the locker room. You just got to get the talent. Like, when you have the talent, he's shown that, like, these teams can be good. You just got to bring the talent in. That's a big part of it, too. Yeah.
You got to recruit. And there's only so much time for a head coach and that stuff. And baseball staffs don't have a ton of people. I'm not saying nothing is easy, but winning isn't never easy either. But you got to do the things you have to do to get the wins.
Right.
If whatever it takes to get the recruits in, whatever it takes to get the wins. That's just how I view it.
Yep, I agree.
Jason Plotkin, watching on YouTube, chimes in with, speaking of roster management, the salary of the Texas football roster, we're talking Longhorns, is 30% higher than the entire athletic budget for Sam Houston, non-conference opponent. Oh, first off, Sark said that number is pretty high. I think that number is too high.
Well, I don't know if he's going off the 40 or the 25.
But
either way, they're both higher. They're both
either way,
higher.
they're both. I would go off the 25. The 40 is not realistic.
Yeah.
Not yet. Give it a couple years.
Have that rev share number kick up.
Guys, that's where we're headed. And so we need to embrace this and start putting regulations in there, right? Like, and I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, but these street agents, ask these coaches. You see a coach, ask them about these street agents, man. Street agents call head coaches on the phone to try to negotiate get the heck out of here, man. No. It's crazy. And the only reason that's happening is because the NCAA will not put the backbone in to regulate that.
Right.
Make those rules. You have to regulate, then certify them. That's what the NFL did. And then you know what? Make these contracts like we do with coaches, right? Set them for a certain time frame. If you think you're going to get that kid if that kid only wants 2 years, sign him 2 years.
Yep.
Right? I mean, these are things that we need to just go ahead, stop complaining about, and just accept, because that's the direction we're headed, and we're either going to get there the easy way or the hard way. And right now, we're going the hard way.
Very hard way.
Yes. Anyhow, that is enough of that. Do we have anything else on the baseball?
I don't think so. I think it's time for a little football talk.
We are going to come back, and we are going to start our positional previews right after we hear another word from our wonderful friends at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
Hey, Ben, outside of Eternal Roofing, which we are eternally grateful for, see what I did there?
Yep.
There is a way. We talk about it all the time, but we need to let the people know how they can get involved and help the Cats through the Cat Fund and the NIL Collective.
Yeah, right there on the screen, cat-fund.com. You can sign up for as little as $10 a month and support athletes at Sam Houston. And like you said, get involved. That's the biggest thing. We need people, we need numbers, we need everybody we can get. And when you sign up, you not only support the athletes, but you get chances to be involved through things like our events and auctions and exclusive insider info and articles that we post, merch and decals and all that kind of stuff. So great way to get involved, support athletes, and yeah, we need everybody to be able to compete and continue to win in today's landscape.
And also, just remember, I don't just tell you to do it. I follow what I say on this.
Yeah, that's why he got banned.
That's why I got banned from Cat
He didn't
Fans.
donate enough, yeah.
Cat Fans was like, that's all? Really? Hey, we are starting a football positional preview series that's going to take us a little while. We'll go room by room. Today, we're going quarterbacks, which Hunter Watson was the Cats Athlete of the Year, as voted on by you, the people. Not my vote, had nothing to do with any of that. Voted on by you, the people. We're going to start there today. And we're going to go through and Ben's going to tell us about the room, what we have, and then we're going to talk how we feel about the room. Are we, where's our temperature, if you want to say, on the room right now?
Yeah, so it's pretty clearly a two-person race, and I don't know if it necessarily is a race because all indications point towards the starting quarterback likely being Hunter Watson, and I've wrote about this on Cat Fund. I've tweeted about it before. Phil Longo, just because he runs the air raid offense doesn't mean he's going to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. And he showed that in 2014 when we ran for 600 more yards than we threw for. He did it at North Carolina. I forget the year, but he had 2 rushers with over 1,100 yards that year. So he's shown that he wants to run the ball. He's brought in 5 transfers at the running back position. So you can see that running the ball, at least for this year, is a priority. So all indications point towards it being Hunter Watson's team, and they're going to kind of move the offense towards his skill set, at least for this year. But maybe Matoyer, I mean, he is a very highly rated quarterback, came with Coach Longo from Wisconsin. He's now a redshirt freshman, and I think he might be ready to start, but I'm of the opinion, and I think it'll play out this way, where let's give him one more year and then hand him the reins to where he could be the guy for 2 to 3 years. I don't want to rush it. I would much rather have Hunter in there and us change the play style just a little bit for him than rush Mabry in there a year early. So I think those are the two guys to look for. DJ Bailey is still in the room. This is now his second full season with the team. Sounds like he is in much better shape. I've heard he's lost probably around 20 pounds, which is good.
Wake up call, huh?
Yeah, which is good. Obviously supremely talented, but needed to get in the weight room, get in better shape. So
You have to work hard, guys. There's
Yeah.
only one way you do it. It only happens one way. There is no easy route.
yeah, so that's really good to see. And so he's an intriguing piece for maybe next year. I mean, Mabry looks to be the guy, but DJ's got the talent to maybe where he could push for it too. He's got a great arm. And then the other name to hit on is Landon Locke. He's a Longo guy. His brother played for Longo last year at Wisconsin, coming off an ACL tear from last year, but he was a top 70 or 80 quarterback in the country out of Rockwall. So those are kind of the four names to really keep an eye on right now, and at least for one more year.
This is interesting. It's an interesting one. You have two Keeler's guys, two Longo's guys.
Yep.
And they're not the same. Keeler and Longo are not the same.
No.
Not the same with their offense. Not in any way, shape, or form what they want out of a quarterback. So is this a chance for Longo to maybe grow and change a little bit of his offense to maybe fit what Hunter can do? You bet.
Yeah.
But if he's not going to do that, I don't know. I don't know that you stick with it. I think you do. Look, you start with Hunter, right? But also, Hunter has been injury prone at times.
Yep.
And so we may see the redshirt freshman, Mabry, you said his name was?
Mabry Matoyer. Yeah, he was top 40 quarterback in the country, committed to Wisconsin, had every offer you could really think of.
Well, I'm
kind of
now on
thing.
first name basis with him. So, I think you see that. But and here's a very serious question: is the backup Mabry, or would the backup possibly be DJ Bailey this year? Just because you wouldn't have to change the entire offense if you go with the other quarterback.
I think from everything I've heard, it's Mabry. And Mabry's still, I think, got an outside shot to win the job. I don't think he's the favorite. But and Mabry and DJ, I think, have similar play styles where they're just kind of gunslingers. They're not going to give you a ton in the run game. A little bit of a different body size. Mabry's about 6'6", and DJ's about 6 foot. But they're gunslingers, and that's kind of Longo's offense. So I don't know. And going back to Hunter, too, I know you still have to be able to throw the ball and be capable of throwing the ball in Longo's offense. And I was concerned about Hunter up until his final two games where we played Liberty and Georgia Southern. I thought that was the absolute best he'd looked all year throwing the ball.
Yeah, he looked good.
I think we threw it 30 plus times and it was 60+% completion as well. So yeah, I think he's got the capability to do it. I would have been a little more concerned if I didn't see it against Liberty and Georgia Southern, but I think he's got the capability to do it.
Couple of questions coming in on YouTube. General Sam, will you put these notes in the cat fund bin?
Yeah, well, I know I did offensive and defensive breakdown for before spring ball and had some nuggets after spring ball, but yeah, we'll do some positional breakdowns throughout the summer. Obviously, it's kind of a dead period right now where basketball recruiting's done. I think we had 3 of the 5 incoming transfers posted in there before they went live.
And
so
now's a good time to start that stuff because,
Yeah.
I mean, players are arriving now.
right, yeah,
Players are arriving for summer camp now. So
yeah. Well,
Already.
the past couple weeks have been a little quiet, just because, like I said, basketball's done. Baseball, I mean, wasn't a ton to really hit on there. I had the article right at the end of the year talking about Sirianni being back in this offseason. So, yeah, football is on the agenda, and then we'll have some basketball and baseball stuff, too.
there you go. You got football stuff coming to Cat Fund soon. Texas Cantina asks, needs to be Hunter till we have a bigger O-line. I don't know if I would say bigger, but I'd definitely say better. I really think Hunter being the most mobile is a very important part of that.
Yeah, I mean, Mabry's a big guy, though. I feel like he could. Obviously, you don't want your quarterback to take hits, but I mean, I
Well,
think he'd be capable to.
How about this?
I was going to say, before we get to that one, too, I think the O-line's in pretty decent shape. I mean, I know you lose Orion Irving and Ethan Hagler, but you return 3 starters, return 2 other guys that played a lot. This is going to be a pretty good O-line. I don't envision us having much bigger and better O-lines than this in the future.
So, uh, with that said, because I actually am not down on the O-line this year.
No, neither
General,
am I. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not down on the O-line. But General Sam chimed in and said Mabry did recently say he worked a lot on being mobile and changing his body so that he could run more and take the hits. Is that a signal that maybe Longo is not changing everything, but at least adding in some things that mobility will help when he wants a quarterback?
Well, and I think also with Hunter likely being the starter, it's tough to change the offense from a more run heavy thing to air raid. So if Mabry does come in, there's going to be elements to where he needs to be able to move a little better than he probably would have expected to. And I mean, he's probably changed his body a lot over a year or two. When you hit college, I mean, the college weight and strength training programs are very different than anything these guys have been through in high school. So,
And he was at Wisconsin, so he had all the best facilities.
It doesn't surprise me that Mabry would say that, and I honestly would assume that probably, one, because of the style of play with the offense, and then number 2, I mean, your body just changes a lot the first 12 to 24 months in a college program.
No doubt about it. Chris Gilstrap on Facebook asks, I think Watson, or chimes in and says, whatever it is, I think Watson is a baller and will do whatever it takes to make it happen. Watson has a national championship and a bowl win under his belt. I like our chances with him. Chris, I'm with you. I wouldn't not go with that. If I was coaching, I'm going Hunter Watson. I don't care what my system is. I'm going to make it work with him. Right. That's the key. We got to make it work with him. Watson has the pedigree. Watson was the guy there. Watson's the athlete of the year. Yeah, of course he's the starting quarterback.
Well, and I think I know the team as a whole, and it's likely to be a down year, and I know we'll talk more about that this summer, but I don't think any of that has to do with the offense. I mean, you return 3 starters on the O-line, you return couple guys who contributed, you have some really nice weapons on offense, either whether it be Hunter or Mabry at quarterback, I think you feel pretty good about. But will the offense be enough to overcome the defense? I think that's the question. I don't think anyone is really necessarily down on the offense going to next year.
Yeah. I'm not down on the offense. I'm intrigued by the offense. I'm interested to see what it looks like under the different scheme and under a different playbook. How quick are they able to change and react to this? Because year one in a new system and scheme is really tough. That's my question with the offense. My only look, this defense, I really, really am not feeling great about this defense right now.
At probably 7 or 8 of the 11 spots. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that said, quarterback room specifically, only talking quarterback room. Well, what would you say is your temperature?
Yeah, I think I guess I could give it a letter grade. I feel like it's a B, and I think I love the talent. I think the talent could be an A, but if Hunter's your guy, how does he look in Longo's offense? I think that's still a question. And then if Mabry's your guy, is he ready to go? And what does he look like in his first real college action? And so I think both have a lot of talent, but I think there's still a question mark with each of them, and that's okay. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think I would give how I'm feeling like a B, maybe a B plus right now.
You just couldn't follow the script, could you? I'm with you. If I was doing a letter grade, I would do a B, but I'm going to go lukewarm. I'm going lukewarm. Like I'm not warm. I'm not like, oh, here we go. I'm not hot, but I'm not. Lukewarm. I'm interested. I'm curious. There are some changes. If it hadn't have been the off-season transition, I would probably be warm about the quarterback room. And I think having the 4 quarterbacks with 2 different styles divided up, I think that can create some issues at times. We will see. But I'm still in the lukewarm because I believe that that Hunter Watson can can lead a team, and I think he can lead this offense. I'm not really worried about this offense, but like Texas Cantina said, he needs to learn how to slide.
He does.
Hunter, take sliding lessons here this summer. That's what you should be working on.
Yeah, and not headbutt lessons where you're just leaning your head in. I was there on the sideline for that WKU game when he left with a concussion, and holy cow, that hit was hard.
Look up. Look
Yeah.
up. Look at your opponent when you hit them. This way you don't duck the head and take that neck injury. That's the key. Goodness gracious. And that's one of the – I mean, they've made stressing about that even in the NFL.
Right. When I was going to say, speaking of WKU too, I mean, kind of along the same lines, I will be at WKU for the season opener for the first game of the Phil Longo era, so should have some good coverage there. Looking forward to it.
Nice. The Hilltop.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to have to talk hats. Because their mascot, I think they have a baseball hat that's just those eyes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Well, and then Jacksonville State's got one with their AKC, the ass kicking chicken, on it. That looks pretty good too.
Oh man, there was one minor league one the last week or 2 weeks ago that I saw and I went, "Ooh, that's a bridge too far for me." And that tells you
That's saying something.
that's saying a lot because there are not very many bridges too far for me. But we're going to end it here on actual football talk. General Sam says he has actually had a healthy offseason, unlike last year, expecting huge strides by Watson. Yes, I agree. That's a great point.
When I think people think about his health during the season, but he had meniscus surgery 2.5, 3 weeks into spring last year.
Yeah.
And he really wasn't full go until probably 10 days into training camp. So yeah, it's a big deal, and I also think being at this level for a second year and seeing what this pace of play looks like compared to JUCO can help as well.
No doubt. Well, we want to say thank you to every one of you who listened through a much longer episode than I intended. And for everyone who watched it, whether you watched on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, thank you so much. Twitter, X, whatever you call it. Don't care. I just really don't. Thank you, Ben. Thanks for coming on, providing all that knowledge, keeping us up. Remember, we will not be back next week. We will be back in 2 weeks. Will be our next what date is that anyway? Good Lord, you would think I'd be better at this. June 11th.
Yeah.
We will be back on June 11th with another episode. Until then, Ben, give us something positive for the Cats to go out with here.
All right, eat 'em up, Cats, and everybody send their well wishes to Corey after his 2 terrible shots yesterday.
That was just death.